You know that feeling, right? You're trying to get your head around something important online, but it just feels like this tidal wave of information just keeps crashing over you.
Yeah, happens all the time. Information overload is real.
It really is. So today we're doing what we do best here, a deep dive. We're going straight to the core of a really significant shift that's happening in, how online content gets made and used.
Right, we're cutting through the noise.
Exactly, getting you up to speed on something genuinely transformative.
That's right. And forget the old playbook, likes fleeting trends. We're talking about a fundamental change.
A big one.
Yeah, moving from that traditional sort of influencer culture to this more sophisticated model called content as a service,
Yeah.
CaaS.
Okay.
And this isn't just like a small tweak. It's really reshaping how creators work and how brands connect with their audiences. Some really interesting stuff happening.
And to help make sense of it all, we've got some great insights to pull apart. We're diving into excerpts from this podcast conversation. It was called The Rise of CaaS, Why Creators Are Moving Away from Influencer Culture.
That's the one.
And it features a chat between Alex, who's really deep in the creator strategy world, and Jordan, who sees things more from the brand marketer side.
So yeah, we get both perspectives, the 360 view.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to really nail down what content as a service actually is, why this shift is picking up steam right now.
Okay.
What are the real advantages? What are the stumbling blocks? And even take a peek at what this might mean down the line.
So basically equipping you, the listener, with a clear understanding of this whole evolving digital landscape.
Yeah, the kind of understanding that helps you see what's coming next.
Okay, let's get into it then. Content as a service, CaaS. It does sound a bit Silicon Valley, doesn't it? What is it in plain terms?
You're right. It can sound a little jargony at first, but really at its heart, CaaS is a way of thinking about content differently.
How so?
Well, not just as something you create and then post on one specific platform. Think of it more as a modular asset. Something that can live anywhere.
A modular.
Yeah. Technically, it's a model where content gets created, stored, and this is the key part, delivered through these things called APIs.
APIs, application programming interfaces.
Exactly. So think of it as a more structured, technically powered approach. It allows content to be incredibly flexible, really adaptable across different channels.
APIs. Okay, that still feels a bit like tech speak for some folks. Can you maybe paint a clearer picture? How does it work in practice?
Absolutely. The crucial idea here, Jordan in our source material really hit on this, is the decoupling of content from presentation layers.
Decoupling content from presentation. What does that mean?
Okay, imagine you create a fantastic piece of content, let's say an in-depth video interview.
Right, yeah.
Traditionally, you'd upload that video maybe directly to YouTube, maybe to LinkedIn, each with its own formatting, its own rules. With CaaS, the actual video file, the transcript, any text that goes with it, all that stuff is stored separately. It's decoupled.
Okay, so it's not tied to one platform's look and feel.
Precisely. Then, using these APIs, it can be pulled and displayed in all sorts of different formats. A short clip for Twitter, maybe a blog post with the video embedded, an email newsletter snippet.
Ah, okay, so you don't have to manually recreate or reformat it for every single place.
Exactly, without needing to recreate the core content each time.
Okay, I think I get it. So it's kind of like having all the ingredients prepped for a big meal.
Yeah.
And then you can serve up different dishes, an appetizer here, a main course there, using those same core ingredients, just presented differently for each guest or, occasion.
That's a spot-on analogy. Really good one. And the API is like the master chef in your analogy.
Oh, chef, okay.
Yeah, knowing exactly how to take those core ingredients, the content, and present them perfectly for each specific platform or guest. It's that API-driven delivery that gives CaaS its power. It makes the content super dynamic, ready for anything. Wow.
Okay.
And what's really fascinating here is how this fundamental shift, just in how content is handled, unlocks so much potential for creators and for brands, too.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's talk about the creators then. The people actually, pouring their time and energy into making this stuff. What were the big frustrations with the old influencer culture pushing them towards this CaaS model?
Well, according to Alex in our source, a really significant pain point for creators in that traditional influencer world is algorithm dependency.
Ah, yeah, the algorithm.
Think about it, right? Their visibility, their reach, sometimes their whole income stream can be completely at the mercy of these constantly changing, often totally opaque algorithms on social media.
Yeah, you hear that all the time.
They often feel like they have very little actual say in who sees their work or how it spreads. It's like building on rented land.
Right. It must be incredibly frustrating. You build this audience, this business, and then boom, a platform changes its rules and your reach just tanks overnight. Like trying to hit a moving target in the dark constantly.
Yeah.
Has that feeling of just instability been a major driver?
Oh, absolutely. And tied right into that is the lack of control over content distribution. That's another big one.
Right.
Creators might feel like they're always chasing the latest platform trend, rather than having the freedom to focus on the content they're actually passionate about or what really serves their audience best.
Right. Chasing viral trends instead of building lasting value.
Precisely. And CASA offers a potential way out of that cycle. Jordan pointed out that it empowers creators to focus on content quality and direct client relationships.
So it's really about taking back some of that control, isn't it?
Definitely.
Instead of being primarily reliant on the whims of Meta or TikTok or whoever, they can build more direct, maybe more stable partnerships with brands and have more say in how their work is used and paid for.
Yes, exactly. Our source material really emphasized this desire creators have for more control over their content and revenue streams. That's a key driving force.
It sounds like a pretty fundamental shift in the creator's power dynamic.
It really is. It's about moving towards a more sustainable model, a more resilient business model for them, one where they have more agency and aren't quite so vulnerable to those unpredictable platform shifts.
And maybe build deeper connections with their audience outside those platform walls, too.
That's a big part of it, too, yes.
Okay, so it sounds like a potential big win for creators' control, stability. But what about the brands? What's in it for them? Why are they getting interested in CaaS?
Good question. For brands, a major draw is consistent content delivery and the ability to repurpose content across channels. Alex explained this well.
Okay, repurposing.
Let's go back to that video interview example. With CaaS, a brand might invest in one high-quality video with a creator. Okay?
Yeah.
Then, because that content is decoupled and accessible via APIs, they can effortlessly adapt it into a whole range of assets. Shorter clips for social,
Right.
transcribed quotes turned into graphics, blog articles that expand on key points, even snippets for email marketing.
All without starting from scratch each time.
Exactly. Think of the efficiency gains there.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge. Huge efficiency gain.
Yeah.
So one really good piece of content can suddenly have a much longer life, connect with audiences in many more ways. That has to be incredibly appealing for marketing teams.
Oh, absolutely. And Jordan also highlighted how CAPI facilitates better collaboration with creators.
How so?
Well, leading to potentially more authentic and targeted marketing efforts. When the technical side of getting the content out there is streamlined, brands and creators can actually focus more on building stronger partnerships.
Okay.
Crafting messages together that feel more genuine, that really resonate more deeply with specific audiences.
Right. Less focus on just the logistics of posting.
Exactly. And the source material underscores this, noting the benefit of consistent, high-quality content that can be easily repurposed and aligned with their messaging across multiple channels.
That ability to align messaging everywhere must be key.
It is. And what's really interesting here is how this can lead to more meaningful, less transactional relationships between the brands and the creators.
Yeah, it sounds like a move away from those sometimes, fleeting one-off influencer posts
Right.
towards more integrated, maybe longer-term content strategies where the creator becomes a real partner in delivering the brand's message. That feels much more sustainable.
Precisely. Building those longer-term relationships, ensuring the content feels less like a straight-up ad and more like a natural extension of both the creator's voice and the brand's values.
Okay, now this all sounds pretty great, pretty beneficial on both sides. But are there any potential downsides? Any hurdles with this CaaS model for creators making the leap or for the brands adopting it?
Yes, definitely some challenges to think about on both sides. Alex pointed out that for creators, there can be hurdles such as the need for technical knowledge and initial setup efforts.
Ah, the tech side.
Yeah, let's be honest, right. Yeah. Not every incredibly creative person is also a tech whiz. Understanding APIs, getting familiar with content management systems, that can involve a pretty significant learning curve.
Oh, I can totally see that.
And an initial investment of time, maybe money, that might feel daunting for some.
Yeah, it's one thing to be amazing at making videos or writing great posts. It's another to suddenly have to grapple with API integrations and headless CMSs. Could be a barrier to entry.
It certainly could be. And then for brands, as Jordan mentioned, there are considerations including selecting the right platforms and ensuring content aligns with brand messaging.
Meaning?
Well, just because you can blast your content across dozens of channels using CaaS doesn't automatically mean it's going to be effective everywhere or even on brand.
Right. You still need a strategy.
Absolutely. Strategic decisions about where to focus your efforts and, crucially, how to maintain a consistent brand voice and feel across all those different formats and platforms, that's still vital.
So it's not like you just flip a switch and suddenly everything's perfect and streamlined.
Not at all.
There's still a definite need for a well-thought-out content strategy, careful execution, making sure all the pieces actually work together. The tech enables it, but it's not a magic bullet.
Precisely. Couldn't have said it better. The technology provides the infrastructure, the efficiency, but the strategic thinking, the creative vision, those remain paramount.
Okay. So looking ahead then, what's the overall feeling from our sources about where CaaS is heading? Is this just a niche trend for early adopters, or is it likely to become more mainstream in the content world?
Both Alex and Jordan seem pretty clear on this. They anticipate an increasing adoption of CaaS.
Okay, increasing adoption.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a fleeting fad. It feels more like a fundamental shift in how content is being approached, how it's being distributed moving forward.
Because it addresses some of those core challenges we talked about.
Exactly, for both creators and brands in the existing landscape.
So we can probably expect to see more and more brands, more creators, embracing this model as the benefits become clearer, maybe as the technology gets a bit easier to use too.
That seems likely.
And our sources also suggested that brands and creators will continue to collaborate more closely through CaaS models. Sounds like a more integrated future.
That's the strong expectation, yes.
Yeah.
As the tools and technologies around CaaS evolve, become more user-friendly, we'll probably see even more innovative, more efficient partnerships emerging within this whole content ecosystem.
Could really reshape how we experience content online.
Could indeed.
Okay, so to kind of bring it all together then, this deep dive into content as a service, into CaaS, it paints a picture of a really significant evolution happening. We're seeing this move away from the sometimes unpredictable, algorithm-driven world of traditional influencer culture
Right.
towards a more structured, more scalable, and more technically sophisticated way of handling online content.
That's a good way to put it.
And this offers creators potentially greater autonomy, stronger brand relationships maybe. And for brands, it provides more consistent, more adaptable, more efficient content solutions.
Definitely benefits on both sides. But, as we said, not without challenges, especially around that initial technical lift. Still, the long-term trend seems to point towards increasing adoption.
That's a great summary. And it leaves us, and you listening, with a really interesting question to maybe ponder.
Okay.
How might this fundamental decoupling of content from its presentation, that core idea of CaaS, how might that influence not just marketing and brand stuff, but maybe other areas of digital communication, information sharing in the years to come?
Interesting. Beyond marketing.
Yeah. As content becomes more modular, more readily distributable like this, what entirely new possibilities might open up? Or what unforeseen challenges might we encounter? It's definitely something to keep in mind as this digital world just keeps on evolving so rapidly.